Welcome. I bid you welcome. John Clouds, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from a music corner of the world. Welcome to another edition of Album Track Ranking A through Z. Today is brought to you by the letter X. And I was really stumped with this one because I don't really know a lot of bands, or I've not really listened to a lot of bands that their band name begins with the letter X. So I really only had up until about 2, 3 months ago, I only had one album that by a band that had the letter X in it, and it was a Christian rock band called Exalt. Now, I only got it for there was one particular song I thought was really catchy. It was a song called Standing, but I've never listened to the rest of the album, and I couldn't even tell you how long it had been. And I thought, well, maybe let's go with. So I was trying to think of what else I could really do. And then I had a really good friend through our YouTube community and, through folks that I have met at concerts. Um, but one person in particular recommended something to me. And I thought, okay, I've heard Grant from Grant's Rock Warehouse, and I've heard Todd Evans and a few other folks talk about it. And I forgot that even I had a little bit of a connection to this band in a show I had done with Peter Kerr a couple years ago when I talked about a band called, um, when I talked about this band called Dragon and this album here called Body and the Beat. And yeah, there's that came out in 1984, and it features the drummer from this band, Ecstasy. And I'm going to go with their fourth album called Black Sea. Now, Terry Chambers, the drummer for Ecstasy at this time, would eventually leave the band a couple years later. Um, Basically he kind of became the story I hear is he became a little disillusioned with the idea that they were never going to be able to perform live again because singer and guitar player leader and primary one of the primary songwriters, Andy Partridge, was really dealing with a lot of particular health issues that was just making it absolutely unbearable for him to go on stage any longer. And obviously it's a very serious condition, and so he basically they just couldn't go out to perform live any longer. And He just got a little disillusioned with that. And Dragon was reforming, and he they were they recruited him to play on that album, which I remember liking quite a lot. I listened to the first side again this morning, and I was like, man, I forgot how good that album was. So it was good to revisit that. So you know who you are, friend who recommended Black Sea to me. Thank you. You know who you are. So, recorded between June and July of 1980, they had just come off a pretty hectic touring schedule on their previous album, Drums and Wires. And the idea was, I think they were going to originally call us Working Under Pressure, which was essentially what they felt like. But yeah, they thought, well, let's go maybe a little different way. And then they came up with the title of Black Sea, which for Andy, that was kind of his description of what it felt like for him. He felt like he was in the middle of a black sea as he was recording all this because he was really just becoming so fatigued because of this condition that they would later determine what he would have. So recorded at the Townhouse studio in London. Um, Wikipedia calls this kind of a pop rock, art pop, new wave, post punk. I don't know. All I know is this album is filled with a lot of infectious grooves and beats and rhythms, and this is just a fun. As even though it sounds fun, it's lyrically it's pretty heavy. There's a lot of heavy topics talked about in this album, but there's just so much fun in the music that you just can't help but really groove and just sway your shoulders and maybe get your hips into it and bob your head a little bit. It's just a fun, infectious album. And I'll tell you what, for being released in 1980, which was if this would be released in September 12th, 1980, For an album that's going to be 45 years old, you could have fooled me. I think this is a wonderfully recorded album by Steve Lillywhite and Hugh Padgham, and it sounds fresh today in 2025. So I want to just put that out there right now. I really enjoy this album. Probably a band I really should explore a little bit more. So in the comments, if you have an XTC album that you think I should check out, please do so. I will be willing to check it out for you. Okay. So this album or this version also came with, now this is the version I got was a CD pressing that came out in 1987 on Virgin Records. So this features three bonus tracks that were B-sides to singles, and it's kind of funny. I think the band would kind of go on to kind of criticize this pressing because they stuck the bonus tracks smack dab in the middle of the record. So when you go from track six, which is No Language in Our Lungs, it should go straight into the song Towers of London. Well, and it kind of, they felt like the sticking these three B-sides in the middle kind of screwed up the flow of the album, because No Language in Our Lungs is the end of side one. So you flipped it over and then boom, there's Towers of London. And it should kind of flow together. Well, yeah, these three songs kind of screw it up a little bit, but I'm still going to include them anyway. They're not remixes or radio edits of songs. They're just different bonus tracks, and I thought they sounded pretty good for the most part. So let's get into this. There's going to be 14 tracks altogether. So my first of all, let me just say this: all these songs have infectious, get in your head kind of earworm kind of vibes. Some maybe just not as pleasant. And so my the one that's going to reach the bottom for me is actually going to be the track the number third song, "Living Through Another Cuba." Um, to me the high tuning of Terry Chambers' snare drum, that really high pinging sound to me just kind of grates on me a little bit, and the constant repetition of living in another Cuba, and then you have this um something Ecstasy was called was like a they I've heard them referred to as like a poor man's Talking Heads. And when you hear Andy in songs like this in particular, when he's just kind of shouting these lyrics, it almost has kind of a David Byrne feel to it. So I kind of get that. Musically, I'm not a Talking Heads aficionado, so I can't really say I agree with the complete thought of it being a poor man's Talking Heads. But yeah, living in another cube, it's infectious, but to me, it's not in a good way. To me, it's a little bit it gets kind of grating to me. Um, one of the bonus tracks is going to come in next. This would be one of the songs written by Colin Moulding, who plays bass, and he would write two other songs on this album. I should also mention Dave Gregory on keyboards and synths and keyboard and guitar, and of course Terry Chambers on drums and free from vocals, and like I said, Andy Partridge on vocals and guitar. So the next song that's going to come in on my list here is going to be "Smokeless Zone." This is one of the B-sides, written by Colin Moulding. It's a silly song, but in a way has a serious topic to it. But musically, it's got a fun feel to it. But again, maybe not so much, not in always in a good way. But it's not a terrible song. All like I said, all these songs kind of get into your head, and they all feel infectious and they feel fresh. So that let me just say this: there's really nothing terrible here. Um, Number 12 is going to be this would be the third last or the second last song on the album on side B. This is a song called Sergeant Rock is going to help me. The band has kind of gone on record. I think Andy in particular went on record saying this was probably the most irrelevant song on the album. Musically, I think it's pretty good. I kind of like the music feel of this. Lyrically, I feel they call this kind of crass, and they kind of wish it hadn't been on the album. But the record company liked it, and they made it the third single. So Who knows, right? All these songs, there was five singles on this album. Four of them were released in the UK. Only one got into Canada. Um, Number 11 track is going to be another one from side two. This is going to be the third last song on it, called "Burning with Optimism's Flames." Here again, I think it's still a good track. You get kind of that real fast talky David Byrne like kind of vocal in some of the verses, but it's a fun track. I still like it. The number 10 track is again another track from side two. It's interesting how a lot of the songs toward the bottom of the list actually are from side two, which I don't know why that is. I guess I really liked side one a lot better. And it's going to be the song Paper and Iron, Notes and Coins. It's another good, I think this is just another good driving rocker. Um, let's see, I have to read my notes here. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to read my notes. It's too little, but it's another fun rocker. Again, talking a lot about the society that I think Andy was probably surrounded in, and I think just a kind of song talking about what he was experiencing in that time. The number 9 track for me is going to be the album closer, and it's called "Travels in Healing." This is an epic. This is like almost a 7-minute track, and you just get this real heavy tribal beat. Lyrically, so according to Andy, it's kind of like a diss on the record industry in some ways. But you get this really driving energy in the music. Very, like I said, a very tribal sounding. And I really kind of like this song. I hated putting it at the last toward the end, but again, it's just I like there's just other songs just kind of make me groove and make me kind of dance a little bit, I guess you could say. I don't know. I like the ending's kind of funny because it has this what's supposed to be like a rain shower, but it sounds more like a bathroom shower. So it doesn't, yeah, it's almost like they're just kind of taking a leak on the record industry, I guess, or something. But anyway, number 8 is going to be one of the other bonus tracks. This is a song called "Don't Lose Your Temper." This is just a fast-paced kind of energy punk pop rocker. Again, this one kind of made me groove, and I like the energy of this song. I really appreciated that. Number 7 is going to be the song um, uh, "Rocket from a Bottle." Here again, musically really, really good. I think lyrically it's a little cringy, but I can't take away from the music feel of this. I think it's like when the song goes off, "I've been set up by a pretty little girl." Gotta be careful about saying stuff like that in 2025. But musically, I thought this was kind of a fun song, and I kind of dug that. Number 6 is going to be the other bonus track. This is actually my favorite of the three bonus tracks. It's a song called "The Somnambulist," and this really is a very somber, very quiet, just a keyboard part with a little drum, synth drum kind of parts through it. But it's just such a quiet, somber song. And I don't know, it just, for some reason, this one really touched my soul. I really, really enjoyed this. This kind of almost gave me like what Talk Talk would come to be like in those latter albums. Very sparse, very quiet and moody and almost introspectful. So I really appreciated that about Andy Partridge and the band with this one. Um, the next one is going to be the side two opener. This would be the second single released in the UK, Towers of London. Again, another very good, catchy, nice pop rock song. You got some good little riffage going on in the song. Here again, they kind of take a look at London here, and I like the vibe of this song. Again, it just has this. Just a good straight ahead rock and roll song, and you have some nice little different flavors kind of sprinkled throughout the song. I really enjoyed this one. Number 4 is going to be the side one closer. No language in our lungs. This sounds like a ballad, but it kind of isn't. Lyrically, it's not what you would think is a ballad, but it's a very slower paced song, and it just has a, again, it just has a, there's just a nice infectiousness about this song. And it was one that really stuck out to me as I was listening to this one. I just really, again, I really kind of appreciated the, again, I know it's talking more about the concern of society and the world around us, but it was nice to hear something more softer and more just straight ahead kind of sound. So I like this one. The next song is going to be the album opener, which would be the fourth track released as a single. This is a song called Respectable Street. Very bouncy, very fun pop rock opener. Very um, lyrically, very in your face with about certain topics. Some of which were not very well received by the BBC and other places. I'll let you listen to the lyrics and you can figure it out for yourself. But a very strong opener. I again another song you can't deny it's how strong it was for this one. Next song is actually the first single that was released, and I'm probably gonna I'm probably gonna anger a lot of the Andy Partridge fans because my top two are actually gonna be the Colin Moulding songs. So this next one's the first one that was released as a single. It's called Generals and Majors. Here again, another kind of war military type of song. But again, this was another one that really just got in my soul and it got me moving, it got me grooving, and I really kind of liked the vibe. You know, I really enjoyed this song, and the same can be said about what the song would be the fifth single released from this album, which was actually only in Canada, Love at First Sight. Here again, I just there was something about the song that just stuck in my head and I just couldn't get it out. And I really, again, I love the feel of it. I loved Colin's vocals with both that and Generals and Majors. There was something, I don't know. I guess I just liked his writing style for those songs, and they were the ones that stuck out to me the most. So I don't know if I'm going to win any ecstasy friends on this one, but I know this was a little different than what I would normally cover. But you know, hey, I wanted to branch out and try something a little different, and so yeah, ecstasy, Black Sea. So let me know what you guys think about this album. You know, let me know in the comments if you're watching this in the live chat. Please say something and tell me what other album I should listen to. You know, I know, like I said, I know Grant and Todd did a series on, or they did some shows on Ecstasy. I believe maybe Pierre Kerr from Rock Daydream Nation also did too. Maybe Bicycle Legs. I can't remember who else did shows regarding XTC, but it was something that was recommended to me, so I want to just give that person a shout out saying thank you for that. This is something that I will definitely take more time and listen to more often. So, John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal coming to you from my music corner of the world. Rock forever, y'all. We'll see you next week when I bring you something by the letter Y. I'm sure you might be able to guess what band I'll probably talk about. Rock forever, y'all. Take care.